Hello, I'm Edith Bowman.
And I'm Michelle Collins.
Welcome to On the Box, the podcast where we celebrate the most loved shows on BritBox and dive into the very best of pop culture from the UK and beyond.
Each episode, we're going to be taking you guys on a deep dive into the hottest TV coming out of the UK, getting the inside scoop from the writers, showrunners, and stars of those very shows.
And what is it about all these shows that feels so addictive, from casting to costume, the grittiest detectives to the most romantic of heroes? We're going to pour through it all.
So if you're looking for bonus content on that BritBox show you just cannot get enough of,
or a tantalising taster of one you've not got around to.
That sounded so nice, Edith. Thank you. Tantalizing taster. Well, good news. This is the podcast for you. So join us for a spoiler-free chat where you can expect exclusive insights, behind-the-scenes gossip, that's my favorite, and interviews with huge stars of British television and super fans of British television. Whether you're just as obsessed with the show as we are, or it's the next series on your watch list, we promise there will be something for all of you.
Right then, come on, let's do this. I'm going to start big. Favourite British show right now, Michelle?
Well, here's the thing with me. Well, I obviously love a scripted show. I, unfortunately, am always at the teat of reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to say that Celebrity Traders, this last season that just wrapped with my girl Claudia Winkleman, was, I believe it was the best season of that show. And I just could not get enough. And frankly, when it ended, Edith, a part of me ended with it. I don't know how else to put it.
Do you love the celebrity version more than the sort of, Joe Public version then?
I actually think it's funny. For some reason, the American celebrities, maybe because I know who they are, many of them, like they annoy me more. The English ones, they can do anything on the English celeb version. And I'm like, look at them. That is so quaint and so funny. They just crack me up in different ways. So I don't know. I love both versions. I think did you watch the recent civilian version of it?
Can I make an admission right here?
No.
Right now with you, Michelle?
Okay.
I have never watched an episode of Traitors.
Now,
shall I go now? Is that us over?
Let me tell you what bothers me on a deep level about this. You said it so much like Alan Cumming, who is the host of the American version, that I'm actually mad on another level now. Why is it? Are you just so busy that you can't? Because I have a lot of time on my hands.
I think that's my excuse. I'm not sure that's the truth. I mean, obviously I see so much about the show through social media and being online and stuff. In fact, last night I was hosting a big dinner for BAFTA, their gala dinner to raise money for all the great stuff they do behind the scenes as a charity. And Celia Imrie was there. So obviously I know about the whole kind of fart gag thing, of her kind of letting a little one pop out.
That's right.
And so I specifically asked for a fart gun to be available on the night that I could do loads of gags around Celia Imrie and her flatulence. So I know and I'm aware of it. I just haven't sat down and watched it. And it's not really for any particular reason, but I promise I will.
If you think I'm going to just glide over the words fart gun, I know that this is not the caliber of this podcast, we are above this. We are two very elegant ladies, and that's why we're here hosting this podcast. But I don't even know what that is. I mean, I know, I just feel like, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, you're going to a gala for BAFTA, and there is Edith with a fart gun. I'm just like, girl, what are you thinking? Did it work? Did you actually get one?
Yeah, we got one.
Wow.
It was basically from a toy shop, and it was one of a kind of replica thing that they had in Despicable Me. You remember they had the kind of fart guns in the Despicable Me film? So I just I kept using it on my microphone. Every time I mentioned Celia's name, I would press the fart gun.
Brutal.
It's childish and immature, I know, but in this first episode of On the Box, I am just going straight in and letting our listeners know who I am.
Yes. And I'm going to let them know that I'm adding it into my contract. No fart guns on this podcast. I work too hard, Edith, for everything to come crashing down around me because of a fart gun. But I love your spirit. You do have a lovely spirit about you, Edith. When we met for that photo shoot, because we really had never met before until
digital, wasn't it?
A few weeks ago, yeah. And despite the difference in our size, because I am much taller than you are, I felt very close to you, and you have a very a wondrous way about you, I would say.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
very
nice.
true.
That's so nice. It is one crazy this kind of digital world, isn't it? Where you form kind of relationships with people over this, and then those kind of moments where you do meet in person, there is a slight anticipation about it, but none of that with you. None of
No,
that.
genuinely. Right from the get-go, we were gelled and good.
Your love of Britain, it's so lovely, in terms of you kind of a proper like Anglophile.
Yeah.
Can you remember the first British show that you loved?
Oh, this is such a great question because of course I can. So, an Anglophile doesn't just happen. You are raised by Anglophiles. And specifically, my mom, when I was growing up, we would come to London almost every summer when I was a little girl. So I had a real connection to this city from the get go. And not just that, but the humor and the people. And believe it or not, the food. I'm in Pret almost every day. Ask me right now. This is like my little man Tate. I can list every sandwich at Pret, every hot food item. I'm so ready to go. But when I was little, we would watch obviously British comedies growing up in my home. And we had a channel called PBS that would air all public broadcasting system, would air all the BBC comedies. So Are You Being Served, which I know is
Oh,
just
amazing.
canon in this country, but Mr. Granger and Mr. Humphreys and all of these people. This was like nightly viewing in my house. We watched that, Keeping Up Appearances. We nearly named our cat Onslow. Um, we just grew up with, I was never a Benny Hill person. That's where I drew the line.
Mhm.
Benny, as a little girl, creeped me out a little bit, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but I did. And yeah,
One Foot in the Grave? Did you do One Foot in the Grave, Victor Meldrew? I don't believe it.
I know that was a good impression. Never saw it, but I'll say my parents did watch. I think that was maybe too mature for me when I was little.
There's some kind of quintessentially British things, whether it's a period or whether it's the comedy or whether it's, that whole murder mystery thing as well, like Agatha Christie. It's kind of like how many stories and characters did this woman write? It sort of feels like for decades we've been entertained by these characters and stories and whodunits that she's written.
I actually want to bring that up because we're going to talk about Toward Zero, this Agatha Christie miniseries that's on BritBox, and I looked up at because it seems to me every day I wake up and there's a new Agatha Christie. I'm like, is she alive? Where are these stories coming from? How was she so prolific with her writing? And I did learn a little bit about her. In fact, I think I emailed myself notes to read because there was
Love
I
it.
we had things in common. For example, she hates loud noises. Hashtag fart gun. That's why I don't like the fart gun. Just so you know. Agatha
Noted.
would not have been a fan of the FG.
Noted.
Yeah, she was just a very particular woman, a very quiet woman who just sat and wrote and wrote. But I can't get over that she was an endless supply of plot lines.
Mm. And these kind of like characters that never seem to kind of age in a way in terms of, or they're always regenerated in a way, still within the period that they're set a lot of the time, but the way that they're kind of regenerated for a new series of this one or a new series of that one. Is there a kind of American equivalent, or what do you think is the big difference between, or is it such an obvious difference between American TV and British TV?
Well, actually, yes. And I think this show in particular kind of highlights that difference a little bit. I think that Americans, we're very much about the payoff. We need the joke, we need the plot, we feed it to us. We need just energy at all times. I think English people are much more comfortable with tension, with buildup. We have had some shows like that. I mean, Mad Men is a great example. Not
Yeah.
every episode of Mad Men was like explosive. Many of them were just atmosphere. And it was so
Sopranos.
Sopranos, great example. But I really think the English have perfected that tone, and especially when it comes to something like a mystery where there's just energy. Nothing
Mm,
even needs to be said. There's just a look that's shot, a
mm.
glance, something, and you feel that. And so British television always kind of encapsulated that for me more than American TV.
That's so interesting.
I mean,
I
but
think is
can I ask you? I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
I want to ask you because it's all about me being an Anglophile, but you are a lovely Scottish woman. What is your impression of American television? I mean, how do you guys look at us?
I mean, I find it, when I was first able to watch stuff as a kid. I mean, I remember my mum being so addicted to like Dallas and Dynasty and Falcon Crest and all those kind of things. I mean, like Knots Landing, that we would. It was, I don't know. It was a kind of it was obviously a part of the world that we didn't get to visit that much. So there was something really kind of aspirational about it in a way, I think.
Mm.
And then when as I got older and got really into sort of, like you say, like The Sopranos and things like that, I don't know, it just, and Sex and the City and stuff like that, it just felt like it was more exciting than what we were making. And
Mm.
that's not the case now, I don't think. But I think back then when we were starting to get a lot of American shows coming across to the UK, it was that kind of like, whoa, they do it so differently. It's so big and these stories are so dark and it's kind of interesting. I think it's almost like that grass is greener thing almost in a way, isn't it? Of kind of, you take things for granted that are closer to you maybe in a way. I don't know.
100%. Because see, I was just going to say that one of the other reasons why I just love English culture and comedy is the self-deprecation of your people. Nothing, I mean, you can go into any pub in London and people are just talking badly about themselves. And I am very connected to that as a comedian, as someone who grew up in a household where we did do that.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about this podcast is that with each episode, we can go and explore a different kind of genre or area of it. And, today is really exciting as well because we are going to be joined by actor Matthew Rhys. And I mean, we know him from so many shows. The Soviet sleeper agent, in the spy thriller series, The Americans, obviously huge show, or as the kind of criminal lawyer in the remake of Perry Mason. He's kind of can do anything. But this week, we know him as the weary Inspector Leach in Towards Zero. It's an adaptation of the 1930s Agatha Christie murder mystery following a recently divorced British tennis player on holiday at the coastal estate of his aunt. Have you got a favourite detective?
In general, what if
Yeah.
I was like, I don't, for some reason, my mind went
Not
to
in real life,
No,
Michelle.
my mind went to OJ trial. I was like, what was the name? We hated that detective. He was horrible. I have a favorite detective. That's another difference between Americans and the English. Like who were our big detectives? Monk? Like who were we?
Cagney and Lacey.
Never watched.
Oh
Too
my
young.
God.
Too young. Is anyone looking at me? Uh,
Columbo?
we love a bit of Columbo. We love a sloppy detective.
Yeah.
Columbo
Leach
worked.
is quite sloppy.
I mean, I don't want to say this, but Leach is 100 times hotter than Columbo. And I'm only saying that because Matthew's coming on the show. So I don't want to get in trouble at BBC HR for harassing our guests. But don't put Matthew Rhys and Columbo in the same breath as a favorite.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Do you know what I need to introduce you to, Michelle?
What?
Taggart.
No,
We do a really good kind of detective cop
Ooh.
Scottish show, actually. In fact, there's a good run of them, but throughout our time together, at one point I will introduce you to Taggart, and I think he could become your new favourite detective.
Wait, is he a hot Scottish detective?
Definitely not. No.
Oh, I just threw my phone across the room. Why am I even Googling this if he's not a hot Scottish detective? Listen, Edith, I need something to feast my eyes on. My soul needs fulfilling, and no more ugly detective.
Making notes.
That's
Okay.
why I love this show, because finally we have a hot, and not just hot, but talk about my type. He's hot and also deeply damaged. I mean, talk
Yeah.
red flag city with this one. I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he's not listening yet, to be honest, because it's going to
I
be
hope he
awkward.
is. I hope
But
he is.
have you ever been to one of those murder mystery parties?
I have. Years ago, I went to a murder mystery. A lot of fun. Well, that's Traitors, by the way. That is literally what the Traitors is. It's a murder mystery party. It's like figuring out who the killers are. Yeah.
Desperate for me to watch this show, aren't you? Really desperate.
Yeah. You know why? Because I'm invested in your happiness, and I think that you will love the show. I mean it. Okay, so something I have to bring up here because I don't know if I'll have the gumption to bring it up when Matthew is here in person because I'm I'm so excited about talking to him. But there was a moment in Towards Zero. I don't want to spoil anything, but I was like, okay, BBC, as an American, we look at the BBC and BritBox and we're like, okay, esteemed. Oh my goodness. Decades and decades of just journalism, a bastion of culture, the BBC. And then you watch Towards Zero, and there is a moment that happens, I believe it's in episode 2, where my jaw fell off its hinge. I was actually, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I'll put it this way. It was sexual in nature. And something I don't know if Americans know about the BBC, and when you come here, it's surprising, is they do allow F-bombs left and right. I mean, you'll be watching BBC at night. That's not happening on Frasier. You know, that's not happening on American TV unless it's
Interesting.
cable. On our public TV, we're not allowed to curse. But there is a sexual situation that happens in episode 2 that, as a feminist, as a lover of the arts, I have to say I was very excited about, and I was also quite impressed that they went there. And I'm sure you know the moment of which I'm
Is it
speaking.
on the staircase?
Yeah, girl.
Yes.
Girl, what?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, is that normal? You tell me, is that like typical? You just turn on BBC and that's, no pun intended,
Oh,
that's
it's
what's
happening
going
in
down?
everybody's staircases, Michelle.
I'm in the wrong hotel. I have to leave. I need to change locations. Cause y'all, I was like, that's like
Mm.
HBO Cinemax After Dark. Like, we are a very uptight nation when it comes to certain sexual situations.
Yeah.
And I was just really impressed. That's what I'll
Who knew? Sexy Agatha Christie.
That's what I'm saying. Would Agatha, like, is Agatha rolling over in her grave? I mean, does she
Nah, come on,
like
she's
it?
loving it.
She was a little bit of a freak, that Agatha Christie, and I love her for it. And I'll add one thing, which is that while Matthew is obviously gorgeous, talented, etc., Oliver Jackson Cohen, who plays the other star, Neville Strange,
Mhm.
has to be just, as they say, a feast for the eyes. I mean, my God, he's so handsome in it.
Is he your type, is he?
Well, is he not? The way I don't like the judgment. Listen, am I wrong? There was a little bit of judgment thrown there. I felt that. What do you
Just
mean?
not my type.
Really?
Yeah. But
Too
that's for another
perfect?
show, maybe. Let's do
Is
that on
it?
our let's yeah.
Why? I wanna talk about it now. Fine, let's have fun, Edith. We wanna get to know you. What's your type? Open up.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a type, to be honest, but
Well,
I don't know. I kind of like I read him pretty quick, is what I'm going to say,
mm,
in terms of I don't know. He was in that other show as well with Gugu and Batha. Did you see that?
yes, I know. I love Google.
And
Yes.
yeah, it's a great show that actually as well. And do you ever have that where you have like hang-ups from like characters from other shows that you almost take over other shows? I think I had a bit of a hang-up of his character from that show when I saw him in this, and I was like, ah, you're one of those, aren't you? Kind of thing. And it's like it's weird sometimes that you can't kind of like shake off that kind of experience. So maybe that's what it was.
I shook it right off. And you're not wrong to say that. Am I drawn to, like, walking red flags? Yeah. Well, guys, I'm so over the moon to welcome our guest, a bona fide star. I can't even believe we frankly have him here, but we get the honor of welcoming to the show. It's the one and only Matthew Rhys. Matthew, what a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me on. I was confused at the introduction as to who was going to be on your show, but I'm honored to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. We love the show, by the way, Towards Zero. It's wonderful. Edith, I know we were just chatting about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great character because he's kind of there's almost a whole series about this character himself as opposed to everything else that's going on. It's a really kind of story within a story in a way. Fun thing to play, Matthew.
Incredibly so, and I loved. I'm not saying it was a complete departure for Agatha Christie, but I enjoyed how sort of flawed they made him, and layered and dark they made him, and I just thought it added so much well to several elements, but how just the depth they gave him made it that much more interesting. But he could kind of relate to so many more other characters in a way that wasn't kind of one dimensional, I thought.
Well, we see at the beginning you play Inspector Leach on the show, and I love brooding Englishmen or Welsh people. I just like anyone who's brooding. And Inspector Leach, I mean, name a more brooding person on earth than this man. We see him contemplate ending it all. He's drinking. He loves, he's in a very bad place. Would you not agree? So is it just like draining for you? How do you get even into that mindset as an actor, channeling that vibe?
I think Edith will attest to this, that the counts just wake up and feel that way, really.
It's our middle name, Brooding. We
We're
all have
born with-
Brooding as a middle name.
I've always maintained that if melancholy were Olympic sport, the Celts would podium every time. I don't feel that much of a departure, to be perfectly honest, especially the drinking. That came second.
Easily.
But the backstory was so detailed and rich that I just
Oh wow.
and the writing was so good that I didn't want to just the truth. And I find more and more just with good writing that the test is not to get in the way of it.
I tell you, one of the things that I really loved about the show as well is that kind of the way that you it's a real kind of sort of physical, almost there's a bit silent movie nature in there as well, of the unveiling of the, the puzzle of who's the who done it moment, in terms of working out and all those kind of little scenes as well. I really, really enjoyed that part of the show. As he's kind of making his way, and just the sort of the stops and the pensive nature and the thoughts and going over things and stuff. It's a really fun part of the show.
It is, and I think sometimes it's rare to have as many private moments as he does. That you're so often kind of caught up with another member of the cast. It's rare to have as many of those private moments as I think Leach does, which is beautiful. I'm still kind of astounded as to how Sam Yates did what he did in the kind of 12 minutes they gave him to film, and the the £20 budget. So that's cool. But it's the age old. You have no time, no money, and so his
Yeah.
incredible imagination came to the fore.
Where did you film? Where was it? What was the location?
We filmed. We were all around a lot of the West Country. We were around kind of Devon and Wiltshire, Bristol, but we filmed. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it now. It's the island where that hotel is, where she would go to write, and it has the Agatha Christie
Yeah.
suite where she would write, and all these American
Wow.
tourists who were staying at that hotel, and obviously we were the film crew going, "Sorry, you can't go into the ballroom today." Oh, really? Can't go into the ballroom for $3,000 a night, can I?
Imagine you go to stay at that hotel and they're making an Agatha Christie show. To me, that's like you're getting more bang for your buck.
I mean, that's where I was trying to go with as well. Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
really adhere to it. But yes, we were very lucky to be in and around a lot of the places she actually wrote about.
I also was blown away when I saw the appearance of Ms. Angelica Houston, who
Oh my God, yes.
first of all, obviously, I think everyone worships her. And I will brag a little bit in that I have interviewed Angelica, and it was one of the highlights of my career talking about her donkey farm with her. Did she bring the donkeys up with you? First question. She has a donkey farm. I mean, I'm like,
Of course she does.
Of course she does. You would
Well,
never think it, but she's.
I
Yeah,
had
go-
to, so we had a lot to talk about. One of the big reasons I took the job was because I'd seen the Uncle Vanya that Andrew Scott, the one man Andrew Scott Vanya that Sam Yates had directed. So I said, I'll work with him for, bread and crisps. And then they said, and Angelica Houston's going to be in it. And I was like, there is no other family that has 3 generations of Oscar winners. She is true Hollywood royalty. And so my great challenge was not just badgering her with inane questions. She was incredible.
She's
Was she?
amazing. No, she's amazing. And also just, I mean, the cast in general, I think for me as a viewer at first, because I have a terrible memory, and I'm also terrible with names. That's why I have social problems putting that out there. But there were so many people in this show. And it felt like it was very exciting because you knew that obviously the culmination, everybody was somehow going to be involved and like become a suspect themselves. But the cast just kind of never ended, but amazing talent. And I want to know, like, from your end, I don't even know, how do you like juggle even memorizing all of these names and people? Because genuinely, it felt like every 5 minutes there was like a new lever. Also, it's very sexy, Matthew. What a sexy show for the BBC.
Yeah, that was for the young ones. I was like, go on, get at it now. Well done. Yeah, go on,
I mean,
go on,
yes,
lads.
yeah,
Keep doing
go
your
on.
push-ups and your ab crunching.
Hey, come on, your tennis playing was pretty good.
Well, once they put the ball in after, yes.
It's very Forrest Gump.
Was.
Was that a CGI tennis ball?
It was.
Wow.
Like Sam on the first day of rehearsal said to me, he said, how good is your tennis game? And I went, oh, I don't know if anyone's relayed to you. I've never played tennis. And his face fell somewhat. So I was ushered away to a very patient tennis coach who sort of went, you think they could put the ball in afterwards? I said, I'm hoping they can put the bloody end speech in afterwards as well.
I am going to selfishly jump onto something that I've never had the chance to ask you about, and I it would be, my entire gang of girlfriends would kill me if I didn't. I have to talk to you about Kevin Walker, because Brothers and Sisters was just one of our favorite shows. Oh my, I love that show so much. Do you have fond memories of it?
Yes, enormously so. I mean, that group of people, Clarissa Flockhart, Rachel Griffiths, obviously Sally Field, Dave, Ron Rifkin, they were we laughed like drains the entire time. I do remember Sally Field once saying to me and Luke McFarlane, Dave, if you don't concentrate for the next 20 minutes, I will smash your heads together. And I just thought, oh my God, double Oscar winner.
All right, Mom.
Matthew, I also want to ask, while we're going off book, meaning veering a little bit away, because I am one of the millions and millions of people who also loved The Beast in Me, which was, I mean, that was like one of the biggest hits. I feel like it's been a minute since Netflix has had that kind of a show where it's like everybody is watching it. Have you seen it? And this was one of those shows that I felt I must watch it to be a part of the conversation. You were fantastic in it, but you were terrifying in it. I was a little bit dreading this because I thought, will I be afraid of this man? But and obviously you're lovely. But how, I mean, just the success of that show, were you expecting that at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I loved how much of a kind of an old school thriller it was in that respect, and that there's something felt very kind of traditional about it to me, or something familiar that I loved. So I kind of thought, hopefully that element will translate. But I really didn't see that coming, the extent of the kind of viewing figures. So I was very happy. But I mean, that part really terrified me because we've seen it so many times. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of go, I don't know how to skin this cat. There's only so many ways you can skin a cat.
But given how evil this character was, obviously, in it, and then working with Claire Danes, who I really feel the two of you had such incredible chemistry in this show. It was, I mean, do you ever work with an actor? Because to me, she is one of the most realistic sobbers. We know that she loves to cry. Were you ever worried about her at any point? Like, Claire, are you okay? Because she is one of the most realistic. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, just she had. I mean, the decades long career she's kind of run with. She has that switch ability now, but also she's one of those women, and I've been fortunate to work with a number of them who come to set with such a game. It feels I've never like I already said, I've never played tennis, but I imagine it was if I were to kind of square up against Serena Williams, and that's how the feeling was. If you're not prepared, God help you. So she turned up 150% prepared, and kind of not in any overt aggressive way, but demands the same of you. And if you don't have that, then woe betide you. So it sharpened my game enormously, and I kind of realized on day one there was no, and day one was that 10-minute long lunch scene that we had together. On the first rehearsal, when she just went boom, I was like, oh God, there's no messing around here.
There's no ease-in period with her. She was just on Amy Poehler's podcast, and I think what really surprised me with her is she's so funny because, again, as viewers, we see this very, I hate to use the word brooding, but very, heavy. She's always riddled with some sort of dilemma. And then in person, she was so bright and hilariously funny, and it was really nice to see that contrast with her.
And she like going back to the switch, she can do that. She can literally switch from these enormous emotions to cracking jokes. It was incredible to watch.
And kind of away from the sort of this small screen side of things as well, whether it be on stage and on a big screen as well. I just wanted to, we're with this show, we're talking about kind of British TV, but British film as well. And Harlow Road, a film that you were in last year with Rosamund Pike, was, I thought, absolutely fantastic. This almost theatrical, within a car kind of thing environment. It was a phenomenal film with Babak Anvari directing. It was so great.
Yeah, and yeah, kind of that. I mean, that for its own challenges kind of scared me as well, because there's no hiding. It's two people in the car, so you've either got to hold it, or you hold it or you don't. As much as Babak moved the camera crazily within the car, and he did enormously so. But yeah, you're slightly laid bare that if the two of you aren't. If that's not working between the two of you, then and Rosamund's another. She's like Claire. She'll come up and hit you 150. Outgoing, right? Let's go. But Babak terrified us because he said, "Listen, on the first day, the memory cards in the cameras are about 55 minutes to an hour now." He said, "I'd love to just put a fresh card in, and then we just roll one long take." And I said, "But that's like a one-act play." And you went, "Yeah." First day of shooting, let's just do that 55-minute take, like in a two shot. And I was like, you're a sadist. And strangely, so we worked and worked and worked on this. And strangely, he used a lot of that two-shot.
Love that. Just mentioning the stage there as well and getting the chance to go back to, the Welsh National Theatre. That must have been kind of, well, what was that like for you? You know what I mean? I guess the opportunity to go back to Wales and work in Wales doesn't come up that often.
It doesn't. And there was a number of planets aligned, really. Myself and Michael Sheen, we still live together. So, God bless him. He took over the Welsh National Theatre because they lost all their funding, and he went, right, I'll take it over and I'll make it work. And so he needs to raise money, and it was the Richard Burton celebrations of his centenary last year. So he's like, look, just come and do a little one-man show for a couple of weeks. Just raise some money. I went, oh yeah, I'll do that. That'll be easy. Yeah. And so we did. There's this great one-man play about him. We did 2 weeks around Wales. And I just did this one-man show about Richard Burton. I don't think I've done anything as hard. My newfound respect for anyone foolish enough to do a one-man.
Well, Cynthia Erivo is doing Dracula and playing 23 or 27 characters on the West End.
I'm not concerned about her because seemingly she could do anything, and the things she can do, I'm like, oh, she'll be fine.
Yeah, I saw Sarah Snook do the Dorian Gray, and that was just mind blowing as well. That kind of where she was talking to her. It was the choreography and the kind of I still can't get my head around how how she did it.
I remember talking to Andrew Scott about his van. Yeah, he said it's just very lonely. Because you come to the night and just kind of talk to yourself in the mirror going, how do you think it went? I think I thought it went quite well.
Your own worst critic. Yeah. That's hilarious. I also want to find out, because someone who I absolutely love, and I love everything she touches, is Katie Dippold, who wrote The Heat and the new Ghostbusters reboot. And you're in a new show with Katie. Have you started shooting the show yet?
I just finished the last bit of post on it. It's going to come out on the 29th of April.
Get out of here. Oh my God, this is exciting. I thought we were going to have to wait like a year for this thing. It's called Widow's Bay. And I have to ask, because it says comedy horror television series. I got to know, because you are terrifying. I say this with so much love. It's why I love you as an actor. But did this allow you to kind of spread your comedy wings a little bit, which has to be very exciting, I would think?
It was, because I've never done a comedy. And it was directed by the incredible Hero Murai, who's done some of the best television I think we've seen in the last decade or so. And I was very nervous because I was like, those comedy boys, they're a very unique breed, and they have that thing in them. They have that timing in them that is, to me, is just like something ethereal. So I was very nervous about it. And then Hero just went, no, we're not making a comedy. And he goes, and we're not making a horror. We're making a drama. It's going to be like any other drama you've done. You're not playing comedy. You're not playing horror. Yeah. You play everything for real. That's it. There's no playing comedy or playing horror. It's a tough tone, because when you're kind of flip-flopping from real extremities, and we do in Widow's Bay, it goes from the kind of very horrific to the kind of absurdly funny, and absurd in the true sense, I think. So it was a tough tone to crack, I think. But the combination of Hero Murai and Katie Dippold, and she is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Her humor is so subtle. So I didn't feel there was that kind of overt comedy that needed any kind of butter spreading or anything like that.
Can you tell us anything about the plot and also where we can see it eventually?
Yes, you'll see it on Apple Television. It's set on a small island 40 nautical miles from New England, the coast of New England. And there's a mayor who is desperate to turn the island into the new Martha's Vineyard, or kind of Cape Cod. And I play that mayor, and he is told by the locals he won't succeed in bringing the tourists because the island is cursed. And he says, just folly and superstition. Or is it?
Oh, I'm so in on this. It's not even
me too. When you said at the start, Michelle, there about comedy horror, I thought you said a comedy horror. It's the accent, which we are going to get used to as we get through this podcast together. I love that. But that's the beautiful thing about accents and being from different parts of the world, is getting to know each other better.
Well, that was my nickname. That was my nickname back in my New York days.
I've been accused of being a comedy whore often.
Yes.
Has anyone ever asked you to consider playing Lindsay Buckingham in a biopic of Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, they have. No one who actually has the power or the
They?
finances to see it through, but
Just purely to get the music rights.
would cost my arm and my leg. But yes, it's been mentioned a couple of times, but I'm holding out. Yeah,
Would you do it?
You could call it Fleetwood Matt. You can have that one, by the way. That's
very
free.
good.
Years of study. Thank you.
Do you get that same sense of pride? I get it with Scotland, where when you see parts of Scotland on screen, because that idea that there's the stereotypical sort of places and things that you see castles and all that kind of stuff. But when you know something's been, I don't know, where there's something about the place that has kind of captivated imagination to go and film there, and Wales being somewhere that you hear more and more of being used for locations, of Hamnet being a really good example of it, Chloe Zhao's film and stuff. That seems to be something that's kind of really exciting about filmmakers and creatives in Wales, in terms of there seems to be a real kind of interest of more and more being filmed and stories coming out of there.
It's very true. Yes, I think, as you probably know, I think we're all, I think, and any one of the Celtic countries would say that we're a band of storytellers, and the kind of, especially the oral storytelling tradition is still strong, especially if not in the pubs, but nationwide. And it has had a relatively good run. I think just its proximity to London and the M4 corridor. I remember the first film I ever did. The cinematographer was a Frenchman called Pierre Haïm, who shot an incredible French film called La Haine, The Hate. And when we were in Wales shooting, and he said, "Oh, you have a little big country," which means, for the size of it, there is scale there, which I think is sometimes used very well. I mean, we're, as we always tell each other, we're a small but mighty nation. And I think that, geographically, the size of it is quite small, but you do have these sweeping vistas that do get used. I remember going to North Wales to go and watch the filming of First Night with Sean Connery all those years ago. And when you saw it on film, you're like, oh my God, it really looks like, we look like Scotland. Yeah, like we can use our one mountain very well. Because I think, Scotland and Ireland, I think you're kind of the more muscular Celts. You get the bigger stories, the bigger films. Like Wales is always slightly at the end going, "Oi, can we get a look in? Please." They're like,
"Can we
"No,
come in,
fuck
please?"
off."
But even like Gareth Evans, who did Raid and stuff, and that last film he did with Tom Hardy, kind of using Cardiff as a kind of a location to kind of almost emulate this slightly futuristic American city sort of thing. That's amazing. That's kind of supporting talent in that area as well, craftsmen and women behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gareth is the kind of the real genius of that. And the kind of staunch Welshman who goes, "I want to work at home."
Yeah.
Just through sheer will and determination, but more so imagination. He just shown that you can kind of blow the casket wide open and go, it can be whatever you want it to be if you're just a bit savvy with it. And I just keep hoping that that's gonna, draw the filmmakers in. But I do think we do well in the films, especially location use. There was a Welsh language film that actually made it to the Oscars called Hedd Wyn, about a World War I poet, which I think for me is the one that captures Wales at its essence.
We've got a couple of funny quick fire ones just to check to see if you're still kind of where you prefer, because obviously you live in the States now, but still kind of, it's lovely hearing your accent. The Welsh accent is so beautiful, but kind of,
I sound like I swallowed a frog today. I had a bit of a shouting night last night, so I haven't got much of a throat or a voice. My apologies.
It's husky. It's good. It all adds the ambience. So, yeah. Welsh rarebit or New Yorker on rye?
Rarebit.
Even the way you say it was brilliant.
Walk in Central Park or Cardiff Arms Park?
The singing is better at Cardiff Arms Park.
What about okay.
No, that was
Go
about
on.
it.
Talking of singing, power ballads, Bonnie Tyler or Barbara Streisand?
Oh, good God. Bonnie Tyler.
To even pit those two against each other is unfair to our guest,
Yes.
I think. I'm sorry. Because you have a national treasure and then one of the best singers ever. You can't do that.
Yes.
In my opinion. I don't know. All right, I'm going to hit you. I already know the answer to this one. Tom Jones or Tom Cruise, Matthew?
There's only one Welsh Elvis, Tom Jones. But I still hold
Yeah.
a great flame in my, not still hold, I will always hold a great flame in my heart for Tom Jones.
Edith, you take the last one.
Is there another one? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Gavin and Stacey or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
Thank you, Matthew.
There we go.
I knew I liked you. I did. I knew I liked you. Seinfeld is my religion. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The end.
That one was just to stick James Corden. I know James, so that was just my little dig.
He'll get it. He'll get it.
Even better.
He'll get it.
Well, I have to say, if you guys haven't seen Toward Zero yet, remember all 3 episodes are available on BritBox. I absolutely loved it. I was on the edge of my seat. It's brilliant. It's gorgeously shot. The people are beautiful. It's a fantastic mystery. You will absolutely devour it. And I want to say thank you so, so much to our fabulous guest, Matthew Rhys.
He was awesome, wasn't he? That was such a nice chat.
So good and
Love
friendly and
that.
funny. We love that.
Yeah. If you still want more Matthew, yes, please. You can see him in Death Comes to Pemberley, the murder mystery based on the characters of Jane Austen, where he plays none other than Mr. Darcy. I know.
What?
6 years after the events of Pride and Prejudice, where there is a chilling murder at Pemberley. It's available now in BritBox. I know what I'm doing after this.
I have to say, every time you say murder, if you don't think I'm thinking Alan on Traitors, you don't
One
know
more?
me, girl. Say it
One
again.
more. Murder. I'm Edith Bowman.
And I'm Michelle Collins. This has been On the Box. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to On the Box, hosted by Edith Bowman and Michelle Collins. The sound editor was Arlie Adlington. Theme music was by Dario Forzato and Canio Claudio Tristano, courtesy of 411 Music. The production coordinator was Caroline Barlow. Production manager was Mabel Finnegan-Wright. The production executive was Ian Hayden. The executive producers for BritBox are Alana McGahey and Diana Robina. The executive producer for BBC Studios is Pete Strauss. The producer was Rajiv Karia. On the Box is a BBC Studios production for BritBox.